everyone. Some of you may know me as the Wanted Man, Ryan Denham, the professional wrestler. Others know me as Bowtie Guy. Every Sunday morning, you're going to see me with that bow tie on. But today, I want to introduce you to the guy behind the personas. I want to take a deeper look at who I truly am. And let's introduce you to Ryan Denham. I became a Christian and accepted Jesus into my heart at a very young age, probably around 7 or 8, during one of the children's programs. So for me, I was always going to church. I was being part of the youth groups. I was going to all the different events and being really involved. And I always craved that attention. So I would do the silly things, or I would do whatever I could to stand out from the rest. So it wasn't really until college when life started crumbling around me. Life turned upside down, and being a Christian became a whole lot harder. I was wrestling every weekend. I was traveling across Ontario, Quebec, you name it. I was always on the road, and very seldomly was around to be able to go to church. I was starting to make very poor decisions. I was looking for the attention in the girls I was dating, in the parties I was going to after the wrestling shows, having fun at karaoke with everyone, right? And it felt good. Right? Temptations and sin, they do feel good at the time, and that's what makes it so difficult to try to avoid those things. Being known as the Wanted Man, living out that persona, was thrilling. It was exciting because it wasn't me. It wasn't Ryan Denham, wrestling in front of a couple people. It was a whole new character. I was able to be someone above and beyond who I truly am. No fears, no anxieties, the roar of the crowd cheering, the energy of hearing the theme music. It was just a very thrilling experience to know that on weekends I was the Wanted Man. At karaoke, I was the Wanted Man. People were buying me drinks and wanting to dance with me, and I was a king. It was a fantastic feeling at that time. But then during the week at work, I'm just the same old guy that struggles with personal issues, that struggles with paying bills, that struggles with fitting in. So when I was no longer the Wanted Man on those weekends, when I was just Ryan, it was very lonely. Let's try to get on as many shows as possible and just focus on having fun, because to be Ryan Denham was not even close to being the same. It was not someone I wanted to be. Just me and just me. But then I came to a realization around, I want to say in my mid-20s, around 24, 25, around there, that I really needed to get away from these temptations. I needed to start a new life. I had to be real with myself and fix not the wanted man, but fix Ryan. The biggest thing in my mind was that I wanted to rededicate myself to being a good Christian, rededicate myself to just getting out of these pitfalls. I realized that drinking wasn't exactly helping me. I realized that being with certain girls wasn't exactly beneficial in my life. I wanted to get back into church. I wanted to get back into having that support group around me. So I called up my dad one day, I think it was like the end of December, and I was like, all right, new year, new life, let's do it. So he helped me move from Ontario to Nova Scotia. I stayed with my parents for a few months, and until I could get employed and out on my own. Life was going well at that time. But then I hit a roadblock. And this one was a major roadblock where I felt alone again. And I missed the attention I was getting from Ontario from certain girls. And so I was like, all right, well, let's find a Christian girl. That will make everything better. But yeah, sometimes even though you think you're gonna date a Christian girl and make everything great, it doesn't always work out that way. And so yeah, I got back into a relationship. Once again, I'm going to those old traps of that desire for the attention, that desire to have these endorphins going off in my brain of good feelings, and who cares what other people think or say, because I feel good, and that's what I want to feel. Right? I want to feel good. I ended up actually getting engaged to this girl, and in a very short time we ended up getting married. I want to say we got married in August, but by December the same year we were separated. So now here I am living in Nova Scotia in a big house all alone, and the reality is I'm just Ryan Denholm, and it's dark. It was pretty bad. Empty house, empty life, empty everything. So yeah, here I am once again, Ryan Denholm, with four walls around him, and that's it. The thing is, yeah, life started fresh, new place to live, new place to work, but I was still Ryan Denholm making stupid decisions for all the wrong reasons. I was still having those temptations of strong desires for the attention, the strong desires for even strong sexual desires, to be blunt about that, and it's just, so that's when I went towards. I was like, all right, let's go to whoever will give me these types of attention to make me feel good. I came back to Nova Scotia thinking that life was going to be brand new. Life was going to be perfect. Get that great job, start a family, get back in church and start serving God. And but then yeah, it kind of all just fell apart. My memory is very foggy of that actual time period. But if I was to think about it now, all I can say was that it was just a lonely time in my life, of just living to work and working to live. There was no more wrestling on the weekends. There was no more church to go to. So yeah, it was just going through the motions. I have no other way of really saying what I was thinking or feeling or going through. I guess I was just content enough to just keep going and hope that someday something would come along, or hope that someday it will just magically get better. But yeah, I was so used to being alone. I was so used to struggling with those feelings of wanting the attention and wanting someone to love me, that for so long when I didn't have it, I just dealt with it. But then, I want to say April of that year, my phone rang. This particular phone call was from my dad. It was just before Good Friday. He basically said that he probably figures I don't want anything to do with him or my mom, but he wanted to invite me to church. The main thing he said was that it'd mean a lot to your mother if you came. It was months and months of being alone, months and months of not going anywhere. And it's been years of having a good conversation or even seeing my parents. So he took the long shot and tried. And I said to myself, what have I got to lose? All right. I don't think I automatically said yes. But I did say that I would think about it. And ultimately, I ended up showing up at that church down on the Bay Shore and walking through those doors. But I knew in my heart that my life was a mess. I knew I needed to once again rededicate myself to God. I don't know if I was ready to do that day, but I knew at some point I was going to have to do that in order to basically get my life in order. I started, small conversations with my parents, and they invited me to come back on a regular basis if I wanted to. And after seeing the cute girl in the front, I was like, yeah, I want to come back. Yeah, of course. Why not? I'll be back on Sunday. That particular girl's name is Liz. And Liz and I are now happily married. This fantastic woman provided to me by God. There's no denying that. I was able to get more involved in different churches, get more involved in different ministries because she was supporting me in that way. When she heard that there was an opportunity for me to become a pastor, she goes, if this is what God has for us, then this is what we'll do. And that's basically what our life together has been this whole time, is following God's leading, understanding what true joy and what true life is, where everything I truly need in life, I now have. And to me, I'm a child of God. To know that is one of the greatest feelings that will forever be there. Even if, heaven forbid, I lose Liz in the family, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I will always have God. He'll always be there for me. He'll always help me out every step of the way, because he already has. even if I refused to admit it in the past, he never left me. He never abandoned me. He never gave up on me. To know that despite all the different turning points in my life, knowing that I am forgiven. And it really, it's hard to really explain how that feels other than relief. To know that that type of love is for me is overwhelming. Because I know I've gone through many relationships where I thought I would love someone forever. And it turns out, not so much. And knowing that Jesus doesn't see the wanted man, knowing that Jesus doesn't see me as bow tie guy, he doesn't see me as anything but Ryan. And he still loves me for me. It's kind of unbelievable when I think about it, because I try so hard to be who I need to be by being someone else. But to know that Jesus loves me for me, to know that he died on the cross for Ryan Denholm. He didn't die on the cross for Ryan Denham, the wanted man. He didn't die on the cross for bow tie guy. He died on the cross because I am Ryan Denholm, a sinner in need of a Savior.